Hello my dear students, welcome to Shlokas Academy, and today we are going to discuss nucleophilic substitution, which is very important for IIT JEE and as well as NEET. So it is one of the important NEMO reaction in the organic chemistry, and most of the students will confuse with these nucleophilic substitution reactions, like what are the conditions that could favor SN1 and what are the conditions that could favor SN2 every time. And again, one more confusion with these reactions: when E1 favors elimination and when nucleophilic substitution favors, because the conditions for elimination and as well as nucleophilic substitution both are almost similar. That is why every student obviously will get the confusion with these. So today we will try to avoid such confusions in these reactions. Okay. So first, when you take alkyl halide I am taking, this is alkyl halide. So generally this alkyl halide, if you observe in this alkyl halide, we have, if I take this carbon, here we have 4 covalent bonds. No one is polar, means no one is ready to break. And if you observe this one, around this carbon also we have 4 covalent. Out of 4, the bond present between carbon and halogen is a polar. Why polar? If you take carbon and halogen, halogen is more electronegative than carbon. So obviously the halogen will get partially negative charge and the carbon will get partially positive charge. Out of all the sigma bonds present in the alkyl halide, so the CX bond is more polar, so this could be the reactive center. And this alkyl halide can involve 2 types of reaction. One is elimination. Why elimination? Very simple. In this elimination, the halogen along with hydrogen from the beta carbon, it is alpha carbon and it is beta carbon, and whenever it wants to undergo elimination, what it will do? The halogen along with hydrogen from the beta carbon will move as HX, will eliminate as HX, and that results in the formation of alkene. Next, another reaction, and if I take any nucleophile, so here, because of more electronegativity, this halogen can live as X minus, and this X minus means it is also one type of nucleophile. This nucleophile can be substituted, can be replaced by this nucleophile. That is called as substitution reaction. As the substitution is done by a nucleophile, it is called as a nucleophilic substitution reaction, which results in the substitution product. So this is how an alkyl halide can involve 2 important NEMO reactions. One is elimination and one is nucleophilic substitution. And today we are going to discuss about nucleophilic substitution. Okay, let me take. Yeah. So now we are going to discuss about nucleophilic substitution reactions. Here, based on the mechanism, mainly we can divide these nucleophilic substitution reactions into 2 types. One is unimolecular nucleophilic substitution and another one is bimolecular nucleophilic substitution. That is very famous as SN1 and SN2. Let me explain. If I take a mechanism A, So in this mechanism, what happened if I take not nucleophile, it is halogen, alkyl halide, and here if I take any nucleophile, right? In this alkyl halide, we know that the bond present between carbon and halogen is a polar bond. Polar bond means carbon get partially positive charge and halogen get partially negative charge. And in this type of mechanism, what will happen? The nucleophile will approach the partially positively charged carbon atom. As this nucleophile approaches partially positive carbon atom, the bond between carbon and halogen will break into heterolytically. So it will leave as halogen. Then what do we get? We will get nucleophile here and X minus as left. This is one type of reaction. So one type of mechanism. In this mechanism, what happening exactly? Very simple. In the alkyl halide, we have a polar bond where carbon have partially positive charge, halogen have partially negative charge. The nucleophile approaches the partially positively charged carbon, which causes the CX bond to break heterolytically. And it gives a substituted product. This is one type of mechanism. And another type of mechanism, right? Here, without any assistance of nucleophile, there is no help of nucleophile to break this bond, right? Being a polar bond in presence of polar protic solvent. The bond, right, broken heterolytically, and which results in the formation of carbocation and X minus. Here, to break this bond, there is no need of a nucleophile help. Just with the help of polar protic solvent, the bond present between carbon and halogen will break heterolytically, which results in the formation of a carbocation and halide. In the second step, the nucleophile, which is electron rich, obviously it approaches the electron deficient carbon, and that will give us product. This is second type of mechanism. And based on this mechanism, we can say that one is bimolecular nucleophilic substitution and one is unimolecular nucleophilic substitution. As we know, SN2 and SN1 very famous. Now, let me explain why it is called as SN2, why it is bimolecular, and why it is following second order kinetics, why it is unimolecular, why it is following the first order kinetics. All these we will discuss in detail. Right. So let me explain. The first one, in this SN2 mechanism, SN2, I can write it as bimolecular nucleophilic substitution. Bimolecular nucleophilic substitution. So first let me write the general reaction. In this, first I am taking alkyl halide it is an alkyl halide, and here I am taking a nucleophile. The nucleophile must be a strong nucleophile, and here I am taking polar aprotic solvent. And what happens? Right. So nucleophile is a strong nucleophile. So because of this polar bond, it gets partially positive charge and it gets partially negative charge. And the nucleophile approach the partially positively charged carbon. As the nucleophile approaches this positively charged carbon, the nucleophile will leave. Means here two things are happening simultaneously. One thing, a new bond is forming between nucleophile and this carbon, new bond. And another thing, old bond is breaking. Making of new bond and breaking of old bond are taking place simultaneously. So that leaves a transition state. Right. Right. So this is called as a transition state. Why? See here, if you observe this transition state where the carbon is having pentavalent, it is highly unstable. And this dotted line represents that making of new bonds, and this dotted line represents that breaking of old bonds. Both are taking place simultaneously, and that results the product. So this is what a simple mechanism of nucleophilic bimolecular nucleophilic substitution. Okay, now let us write characteristics of this SN2 reaction. Characteristics of SN2 reaction. One by one, let us write. First one. In how many steps the reaction is going to be finished? Only one step. This is not an intermediate. It is a transition state which is highly unstable, more energetic and highly unstable. Right? So it is a single step reaction. And we know that all single step reactions are called as concerted reactions. So the first statement, what you can write, it is a concerted reaction. Concerted reaction means it takes place in only one step, single step reaction. And the second point, in this single step, does it involve the formation of any intermediate? We are not getting any reaction intermediate. So there is no intermediate formation during this reaction, just it proceeds through the transition state. No intermediate, is formed. It proceeds through transition state. Yes. That is second. Third. So as it is taking place in only one step, that is only the slowest step and that is only the fastest step. Means if I ask you what could be the rate determining step for this reaction, means this is only. And in this rate determining step, tell me how many reactant species are involving. One is substrate, which is alkyl halide, and another one is reagent, nucleophile. Two reactant molecules are involving in the rate determining step. As there are two reactant species in the rate determining step, it is a bimolecular reaction. What is that? It is a bimolecular reaction. Why it is bimolecular? Because in rate determining step, only two reactant species are involving. Next, if you want to write its kinetics of the reaction, that means rate expression, experimental rate expression. So I can write rate is equal to rate constant K into molar concentration of substrate alkyl halide into molar concentration of nucleophile. If you observe this rate law expression for this equation, for this reaction, and according to the kinetics, you can say that the sum of the powers of concentration terms appeared in this rate expression is 2, 1 plus 1. That means the rate of this nucleophilic substitution reaction is depending upon concentration of the alkyl halide and as well as concentration of the nucleophile. So hence it follows second order kinetics. Next, it follows second order kinetics. Second order kinetics. So these are the 5 important characteristics of the SN2 mechanism, and we can write energetic graph potential energy diagram for this SN2 mechanism, and also the factors that can affect the rate of SN2 reaction, the factors affecting the SN2 reaction also we can discuss. Let me take. So 5 characteristics. What is the first one? It is a concentrated reaction, that means single step. No intermediate is involving, just it proceeds through transition state, which is highly unstable. And third one, as in the rate determining step, only 2 reactant molecules are involving, it is a bimolecular reaction. And fourth one, according to the kinetics, the rate of the reaction is depending upon both substrate, that is alkyl halide, and as well as nucleophile. Hence, it follows second order kinetics. Now, if you take energy profile diagram, on x-axis, progress of the reaction. On y-axis, I am taking potential energy. So here, if you take, what is that? The mechanism. It is what? Substrate. Or I can take it as S, substrate. And it is what? Nucleophile. Then what do we get? Nucleophile is slowly attaching to the carbon and halogen is slowly leaving from the substrate. It is what? Transition state. And what do we get? Here, product we will get P. Substrate, transition state and product. So first I am taking this diagram. Here I am starting with substrate. Right here, and it is only taking place in one step. It is product and it is transition state. This is a energetics diagram for the SN2 mechanism. Understood? Substrate is having more energy than that of the product, means. So this hypothetical reaction is what? Exothermic reaction. Means it involves in energy releasing, because the products are having lower energy than the reactants. Okay, next. Factors or stereochemistry of the reaction. Stereochemistry of the reaction means, let me take one example, then you will come to know very clearly. So here I am starting with, what is that, one halogen, chlorine I am taking, and here hydrogen, and here deuterium, and here methyl group I am taking. So the carbon, this is a chiral carbon, and you just assume that it is a Fischer projection. Instead of cross, I have written carbon. Just you assume that it is a Fischer projection formula. So then, according to RS nomenclature, CIP rules: first priority, second priority, third priority, and fourth priority. As the least priority group is lying on the vertical line, so 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, it is S configuration. What is the configuration of this substrate? S configuration. Now what I am taking here, a nucleophile I am taking, let me take like OH minus. It is a nucleophile. What is happening here? The nucleophile do not wait till the leaving group has completely departs from the substrate. As it starts to depart, simultaneously it attacks from the exactly backside. Backside means directly the side opposite to the leaving group. It is going to attach directly the side which is opposite to the leaving group. So that will give us here no change in this top group, bottom group. Here I will get OH and here I will get D. Initially I have started with what? S configuration, and it results in the formation of R configuration. So it is called as Walden inversion. As the scientist Walden invented this one, it is called as Walden inversion. Means the substrate is changing, inverted its configuration from S to R completely, like umbrella rotation. It is also called as umbrella inversion. Actually, umbrella is like this. Right, as nucleophile approaches, it becomes like this. Umbrella inversion also, it is called as umbrella inversion also. This is what stereochemistry of the SN2 reaction. What is stereochemistry? If you start with a chiral molecule, always the product is inverted as compared to the substrate. If you start with S, you may get R. Most of the times, if you start with R, you may get S. If you start with dextro, you will get LEU. Inverted product, 100%. Right? So this is stereochemistry of the product. Now, factors affecting the SN2 reaction. This is very important. So factors affecting the SN2 mechanism. Factors affecting the SN2 reaction. Factors affecting the SN2 reaction. So the first factor, 4 factors are there. The first one, structure of the substrate, means alkyl halide. The structure of the substrate. Here, let me take 3 substrates. One is what? Methyl halide. In all cases, the leaving group is same. And another one I am taking ethyl halide. And another one I am taking dimethyl halide. And another one I am taking neopentyl. It is actually primary one. CH3 and CH3, CH2, CH2, X, neopentyl halide, and here I can take tertiary halide. So these are the different substrates, so which are ready to undergo SN2 mechanism. Now my question is that arrange all these substrates in the decreasing order or increasing order of their reactivity towards SN2 reaction. Because it is all about structure of the substrate. In all these cases, the leaving group is same, the nucleophile is same, the solvent is same. Only the thing, we are changing the structure of the substrate. How the structure of the substrate could affect the rate of the reaction. Let me check. In all cases, the nucleophile is same, means the nucleophile has to approach this carbon atom or not. So let me label the reactive carbon. Carbon, the way nucleophile attack has to be done. This is the carbon way the nucleophile attack has to be done. Right. So here, if nucleophile is coming towards this carbon, so what are the atoms attached to this carbon? All 3 are hydrogens which are very small. So they do not offer any steric hindrance to this nucleophile. They do not show any steric hindrance, and the approach of nucleophile becomes very easy. When it comes to ethyl halide, so here 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 methyl. The methyl means actually I can write H, H and H. So compared to hydrogen, it is a bulky group. So because of this bulkiness, the nucleophile cannot approach, would not approach easily as in the CH3X. So from here to here what happened? The approachment of nucleophile will decreases. It will become somewhat difficult. It will face some steric hindrance from this bulky group. And here we have 2 bulky groups and only 1 small. Still the nucleophile approach will become still difficult. And here entire this is very bulky group. Only 2. The nucleophile almost cannot approach. And here also 3 bulky groups. The nucleophile approach is very difficult. Now if I label all these as A and B, C and D and E. What is the reaction order means? A is greater than, B greater than, C greater than, D greater than E. So this is how the structure of substrate can affect the SN2 rate, reactivity towards SN2 mechanism. So simply what you can say, if the carbon where the nucleophile has to attack is attached with small atoms or small groups, the reaction is quite in vitro. There is no disturbance, there is no steric hindrance. In the same way, the substrate where the carbon is attached with a bulky group, then the attack of nucleophile will become very difficult. Right? So if I take A, B, C, D, E, what is the order? A greater than B greater than C greater than D greater than E. So I can generalize this statement. Reactivity of alkyl halides towards SN1, SN2 reaction. Towards SN2 reaction is right. Methyl halide greater than, primary greater than, secondary greater than, tertiary. I am not taking that neopentyl, not required. If you take the rate approximate, the experimental result I am writing. Right, if it is 30 times relatively faster than primary, right, 0.02 and almost it is nearly equal to 0. Means compared to primary, the methyl halide is 30 times faster. Right, so this is what relative rate towards the SN1. Almost in tertiary it is almost 0. Almost 0. So that is how the structure of the substrate can affect the SN2 reaction. Second one, concentration and reactivity of nucleophile. Concentration and reactivity of nucleophile. Because if you take in the rate determining step of the SN2 reaction, both alkyl halide and as well as nucleophile, both are involving. Both can affect the rate of the reaction. About the alkyl halide already we have discussed. Now we have to discuss about what? Nucleophile. Nucleophile. So the concentration and reactivity of nucleophile. According to kinetics of the reaction, very simple. What is kinetics of the reaction? Rate is directly proportional to molar concentration of alkyl halide into molar concentration of nucleophile. So what you can write? More is the concentration of nucleophile, more will be the rate of the reaction. That's it. Rate is, if you double the concentration of the nucleophile, the rate would become double. If you triple, the rate will become triple. Directly proportional. And how about reactivity of the nucleophile? How can you decide? Right? So let me take some examples and how the reactivity of nucleophile can affect the rate of SN2 mechanism, that we can discuss with one example. And here I am taking nucleophiles F minus, Cl minus, Br minus and I minus. All these are nucleophiles only. If I ask you what could be the nucleophilicity order towards SN2 mechanism, so here we cannot say until and unless the solvent is given. So I can write two orders. The one order in polar protic solvent. In polar protic solvent. I will explain, then you will come to know the order. And another one is polar aprotic solvent. Polar aprotic solvent. Polar aprotic solvent. What is polar aprotic solvent? Polar aprotic, at the end of this video I will explain, so you don't worry about that one. In case of polar aprotic solvent means, I will take the example. The one which is polar and capable of donating proton is called as polar protic. And this is the solvent which is polar but not capable of donating hydrogen, H plus ion. Like acetone, you can take CH3 taken twice CO, and dimethyl sulfide you can take DMSO. These are some examples for polar aprotic solvent, right? So here I am taking, these are the nucleophiles available, and here I need to decide the reactivity of this nucleophile towards SN2 mechanism in polar and as well as polar aprotic solvent. That is very simple. You can take any one of them, F minus, Cl minus, Br minus, I minus. Let me take F minus, right? When it could become a strong nucleophile, when it is capable of donating this lone pair very easily, then it can be a good nucleophile, right? If it wants to donate this lone pair to the carbon to form the bond, so first the electron pair has to be free. It is not covered by, or it is not restricted by anyone else. It has to be freely donate to the carbon. But if you take polar protic solvent like water, I am taking water. So water is a polar protic and the fluorine is more electronegative. So it can involve in hydrogen bonding. Means this electron cloud is rounded up by water molecules. If the electron cloud on the fluorine atom is surrounded by the water molecule layer, can the electron move towards the carbon? It will become very difficult. So although it has the lone pair, due to the hydrogen bonding with the polar protic solvent, it could not donate lone pair easily. So then what about its nucleophilicity? It's a drop down. Now out of all these halides, what is the capability of these halide ions to form hydrogen bond with the water? Obviously F minus has more capability to form the hydrogen bond because it is more electronegative and small size than chlorine, then bromine, then iodine. So now tell me, if you want to write the nucleophilicity order in polar protic solvent, that should be F cannot donate easily, less than Cl minus, less than Br minus, less than I minus. So this is the order of nucleophilicity in polar protic solvent. Why? Because out of all these, I minus somehow can form weak hydrogen bond with the water. So the lone pair can easily donate to the carbon, but fluorine cannot. Now coming to the polar protic solvent. I am taking the solvent what? Acetone I am taking. If you take acetone, it is polar. You can write here negative charge and positive charge. And again I am taking, what is that? I minus. What is that nucleophile? I minus, negative. They repel with each other. So no one is restricting this lone pair. Let us see. Why can't this positive charge approaches this one? It is too bulky. Too bulky. It cannot approach the I minus because of its steric hindrance. Because of steric hindrance. If I minus wants to approach here, these two groups and this oxygen will repel, will show the steric hindrance. So that there is no possibility of hydrogen bonding here. No possibility of restriction to the iodide to donate the lone pair. So then who will donate? F minus is more electronegative, capability to attract the electrons, so it is not at all willing to donate the electrons. Then who will donate? I minus. Then what should be the order? I minus greater than Br minus greater than F minus. F minus greater than Cl minus greater than Br minus greater than and I minus. So which is here fluorine is a fluoride ion is the weakest nucleophile and here fluoride ion is the strongest nucleophile. That depends upon the solvent. This is how effect of nucleophile will affect the rate of SN2 reaction. This is second factor. And third factor, we have to discuss about nature of solvent. Already solvent, so easily you can say that, right? Effect of solvent. Effect of solvent. If you take the solvent, right, polar aprotic solvent. Polar aprotic solvent favors the SN2 mechanism. favors SN2. Polar aprotic solvent means these are polar but not capable of donating proton, H plus ion. So you can take example acetone and dimethyl sulfoxide and dimethyl formamide, N-dimethyl formamide, N-dimethyl formamide. I can write DMF and it is DMSO and it is acetone. So in these solvents favors SN2 rather than SN1. And the last factor, nature of leaving group. Nature of leaving group. So obviously the good leaving group will favor the both SN1 and SN2. So this factor is same for both SN1 and SN2. So the fourth factor is nature of leaving group. So very simple. Who will be the good leaving group means always a weak base is a good leaving group. Why? Once it departures from the substrate, it has to be stable. When it can stabilize, when it is a weak base, the negative charge can be stabilized by the weak base only. If it is a strong base, it readily abstracts the proton, no. So it cannot stabilize. A weak base could be a good leaving group. A good leaving group favors the SN2 mechanism and SN1 also. So leaving group I minus is a good leaving group, then Br minus, then Cl minus, then F minus. So this is in case of alkyl halides. Other than alkyl halides, there are some good leaving groups like alkane sulfonate, sulfite, alkane sulfite, sulfite, RSO4 minus. Actually, you can write ROSO3 minus. Alkane sulfate, and very important, which is called as tosylate. So it can abbreviate as OTS. It is a good leaving group. And one more good leaving group is there. It is super good leaving group, which is called as triplet ion. Super good leaving group, very good leaving group. Right, leaving groups, these are the some of the best leaving groups. RSO3 minus, RSO4 minus, and tosylate and triplet ion, all these. Right? So these are the four factors that could affect the rate of SN2 reaction. Next, I said nucleophile, no? The strong nucleophile favors the SN2. Right. So what are the nucleophiles means? I will give a list of some nucleophiles. So I can take C2H5, taken twice phosphorus. Phosphorus is having lone pair that can donate good nucleophile. Then SH minus, right? Then C2H5, taken twice NH, secondary amine. This is also a good nucleophile. Then Cn minus, then C2H5 taken twice and tertiary amine, then OH minus, then OCH3 minus. These are the strong nucleophiles. Strong nucleophiles. Out of all these, usually we will use SH, Cn, OH and OCH. These four very commonly we will use. This results in the formation of thiol. This results in the formation of cyanide. and this results in the formation of alcohol, and it results in the formation of ether. And moderate also there. If I take Br minus, here I minus also will come. After SH minus, I can take I minus. Br minus, NH3, dimethyl sulfide, right, then Cl minus and CH3 COO minus. All these are what? Moderate, and in this mostly we will use NH3, right, NH3 mostly we will use. And weak are what? F minus, water and alcohol. These are weak nucleophiles. So weak nucleophile favors SN1. In that case, these are very helpful, but these are in SN2 mechanism. So let us see some examples of SN2 mechanism. All stereochemistry factor also we can discuss. Right. Here I am taking H, Br and CH3, H, D and C2, H5. No doubt it is a secondary alkyl array, and we have the chiral center here also. But what is the reactive center? This is our reactive center. And here the nucleophile I am taking OH minus. So here Br is in the Fischer projection formula. Entire the product will be same as it is you write. CH3, C2H5, D, HF. In this part no change, we have just changed the position. Exactly opposite to the leaving group. Always the nucleophile will goes to attack directly to the opposite to the leaving group. Right. So this is how they can involve in nucleophilic substitution. If you started with R configuration, you will get S, that is inversion product will dominate. Next, if I take some other examples of SN2 mechanism, so here just I am taking and nucleophile. What happened? Alkyl halide will leave and nucleophile will attack from the backside. This is a simple mechanism. Here I will take different types of nucleophile. Here nucleophile is I minus. Then what is the product? Alkyl iodide. Here the nucleophile is a SH minus. What is the nucleophile? Thiol. The nucleophile is SR minus. Thioether. The nucleophile is OH minus. Alcohol is a product. The nucleophile is OR minus. Ether is a product. The nucleophile is NH3. Amine is the product. The nucleophile is acetylide, alkyl acetylide. The product will be alkyl. The nucleophile is N3 minus. The product will be azide. Like that I can write. Just in the examination they will give different types of nucleophile. If you understand the mechanism, within the seconds you can write the product. With stereochemistry you can read. At mains level they can ask this much, and even advanced level they can go with stereochemistry. That's it. Next, let us move on to the SN2 mechanism. SN1 mechanism.